Donald Trump gave an interview yesterday, and he again did this bizarre N-word rant. This is his new bit. He knows exactly who his audience is. And this was an interview in which Donald Trump seemed very confused, quite disoriented. Take a listen.
If you look at Putin with his talk,
Putin.
and if you look, this is not talk. You don't mention that thing that we don't want to talk about. I say the N-word. Well, it means the nuclear word. The N-word is the nuclear word, and that is a threat like nobody's had out there. I mean, he's talking about that openly, and it's being handled very badly. Again, this was
I agree with
something
you.
that shouldn't have happened.
We are on the
being
precipice.
hurt very badly from within.
Trump knows exactly who his audience is. He knows exactly how to wind people. Oh, the N-word, the N-word. And you might remember that clip from his rally over the weekend where Trump brought up the N-word. And he goes, you know what that is? And then the crowd thinks they know which N-word he's talking about. And then Trump has to pacify them and go, no. I mean nuclear. Or nuclear, as some like to say. Donald Trump seems to think that Putin is winning in Ukraine, despite a protracted stalemate at best for Russia.
Right now, Mr. President, if you get reelected, let's just say, I'm hypothetically here, you get back in, what would you do to broker peace right away? Because I don't hear anybody from the European Union and definitely in the Biden regime trying to convince these two, Zelensky and Putin, to get to the table and do what's right for the innocent people dying.
By the way, before Trump delivers his foreign policy analysis, this is on OAN. Trump is increasingly relegated to being interviewed on Newsmax and OAN. Fox had him last week to try to help him out, but he is increasingly not welcome on mainstream networks.
In the middle, which is come to the peace bargaining table. Nobody's willing to discuss that.
Well, it would have been much easier before it happened, but it did happen, and that's where we are right now. The thing you have to do is get the oil price down, and Russia will stop, because Russia's getting at $100 a barrel. They've never had wealth like this before. Right. And despite the war and the cost of the war and what the war is doing to everybody and the killing, the tremendous killing that's taking place, if you got oil down to, I had it down to $40 a barrel. I had it down to less than that. We had gasoline at one point.
Remember, the collapse in the oil market was because of COVID. Now Trump is praising it like it's a good thing.
Down to $1.49. Can you believe it?
I remember.
And now you look at where it is. You look at where it is right now. Everybody was buying very big cars and trucks. They were driving trucks. They wanted not even SUVs. Let's go buy a truck. But we had it down to a level that nobody's seen in decades and decades and decades, and it was a great thing. This country was booming, and then they shut it off. But what you do is you have to get the oil price down. You get the oil price down, you get it down to $40, $50 a barrel, the war would stop automatically. You don't even have to talk to anybody. It would stop automatically.
Now, of course, this entire framing is completely absurd. Trump seems to think Putin is actually winning in Ukraine, despite the reality on the ground being dramatically different. But you're not going to get pushback on OAN. They're certainly not going to push back about that. Now, one interesting moment was that, OAN is one of the most weaponized disinformation audiences that is out there in right-wing media. On OAN, Trump stood by the vaccines for COVID as well as Operation Warp Speed, which I don't know that the audience here is necessarily going to love. But remember, Trump is desperate to have something to take credit for.
As far as Operation Warp Speed, I mean, I've been given great reviews on that by a lot of people. We did an incredible job. When we handed it back over after a rigged election, we handed it back over. The stock market was higher than it was prior to COVID, the day before COVID came in. And by the way, the stock market is higher than it is right now. I don't know if anybody's noticed that.
Oh, yeah. We've lost $7 trillion since Biden took over. Yeah, I was going to get to that in the economy. But I still got to get that vaccine question out, Mr. President, just because I get so many viewers asking, with the side effects, where does Mr. Trump stand on that?
The side effects, guys. The side effects. Which are what again? Just flu-like a little bit?
So many viewers sent that in to me.
So we got a vaccine done, and we also got Regeneron and a lot of other therapeutic things done, which are phenomenal and which really...
And remember, Trump didn't do any of those things.
People don't talk about, but really have been fantastic. The vaccine was done in 9 months instead of 5 years or 10 years or 12 years. And as you know, there are many, many people that think that millions of people worldwide have been saved because of the vaccine. We'll see what happens. We're looking at it very, very closely, but we got that done in 9 months as opposed to 5 years to 12 years. They said it was going to take anywhere from 5 to 12 years.
If reelected, though, Mr. President, you would remove any type of mandate at the federal level for our military, for first responders, for everybody when it comes to this vaccine, because there are questions about the side effects. So you would remove those.
There are really no questions.
The mandates, yeah. Okay. I didn't do the mandates. Gotcha. The mandates were done by other people.
Yep. Just wanted to get you on the record for that one.
Under me.
Yep.
Yeah,
so many
the
people
mandates were done by governors and they were done by others. And the mandates were very bad. I was against the mandates. I was never for the mandates. And
all right. So he's trying to court an audience on OAN that is not big on the vaccines. That's the reality. And I don't know how that's going to necessarily go over with them. But Trump has very little left, and he just doesn't even know where to go. Donald Trump, continuing the theme from his rallies of the anti-trans stuff during this interview as well.
This thing has exploded like it's okay and normal to start cutting up a 13 or a 14-year-old and use 140 different genders and 200 different pronouns. This is nonsense. They're going after our kids. Don't you think, Mr. President?
It's true. And I ended that, as you know, I ended it largely in the country, but I ended it for our military. It was over. You couldn't do it.
Right.
And there was a little bit of fuss from a few people, but 99% of the people agreed. This is an issue that if you ever took a real poll, it probably would poll at 1%. Yeah. And they're trying to destroy our country.
So this is now a theme. This is, we started seeing this actually at CPAC, where the biggest applause lines were the overtly homophobic and transphobic ones. And we're increasingly seeing this, and it's a really depressing thing to see absent any actual policy. Last clip here, Trumpers, as well as Trump himself, want to paint a picture of the golden age of America, the summer of COVID, even though it was actually the summer of COVID.
And we're not that far away. We had something going so special 2 years ago. We were leading the world in every category. Every group within our country was leading. African American, Asian American, women, men, Hispanics. Everybody was leading. Young people, old people. We were all doing great.
Yeah. Remember that was when hospitals needed to bring in refrigerated trucks as morgues because they were out of space for the people dead from COVID in the hospitals. Another bizarre interview, completely disconnected from reality. I've had such trouble finding a great razor where I am not cutting myself or getting those nicks on my skin, which are so common with the cheap disposable razors. You have to meet our sponsor, Henson Shaving. Henson actually manufactures parts for the International Space Station and the Mars rover, and they are bringing that exact same precision engineering to the shaving experience. It hurts when you shave because blades extend too far, and thus they wobble slightly. But with their aerospace-grade CNC machines, Henson is able to make metal razors that extend just 0.0013 inches. That's less than the thickness of a human hair, which means a secure, stable blade with a vibration-free shave. It also has built-in channels to evacuate the hair and the cream. No more clogs, no more rubbing your thumb on the razor to get the hair out. I use Henson at home. Shaving is a great experience now. Henson wants to be the best razor, not the best razor business, which means you only need to buy it once and it's awesome. Go to hensonshaving.com/Pacman, add a razor and a 100-pack of blades to your cart, then enter the code Pacman to get the 100 blades for free. That is a 3-year supply. The link is down below.